Welcome back to another Giant Slayer TV video. Patch 10.2 is in full swing, and we are here to bring you 5 of the current top builds for rank. The meta may shift over the course of the next week, so keep in mind that these builds may change as the meta does. But before we begin, please don't forget to click the links in our description. We host many TFT tournaments with plenty of exciting news to come. The interest form is down below, so feel free to fill that out if you'd like to compete. Be sure to also follow Giant Slayer's social medias and check out our amazing cast in the description. With that said, let's get back into the video. We're here to go over 5 of the current builds in no particular order of their viability. They're all viable with different strengths and weaknesses, and none of them are the primary dominating build in the same way that Sivir and Friends was in 10.1. It is definitely an exciting meta with a lot of diversity, so let's get into it. To start things off, let's talk about number 5 on our list, Shadow Inferno. These units have been in and out of the meta for most of TFT Set 2, and the buffs to them in 10.2 are doing extremely well for them. The relevant buffs include a 1-second increase to shadow damage buff duration, Cylance starting mana being increased, and 6 shadow getting a huge 25% damage buff. Alongside that are buffs to 6 Inferno and even 9 Inferno, though the latter is not likely going to happen. Kindred is also receiving a bug fix that made Jeweled Gauntlet a viable item to play on her, which has changed her itemization in 10.2. Composition is almost always built around Kindred, Varus, and Annie for Inferno, with Malzahar and Sion rounding out the shadows. From there, you can easily add in another summoner such as Yorick, or go down the route of playing 6 Shadow or 6 Inferno if you're able to find a relevant Lux for either element. Kindred is the primary carry for this build, with Jeweled Gauntlet, Infinity Edge, and Seraphs being the best items for her. Sion is also great with items like Guardian Angel and Titan's Resolve, so look to stack him after the Kindred. Next up, let's go over number 4 on our build list, Berserkers. This composition has been in the meta for several patches now, and it looks like it's here to stay in 10.2. We do need to point out that Olaf received a small nerf in 10.2 with his attack speed going from 0.85 to 0.8, but don't worry, he's still a very strong carry. The 6 Berserker gangs all here, and Olaf is the main carry as usual. What's different in 10.2 is that you have more options late game to tack onto your 6 Berserkers. There's the usual transition of playing Poison with Singed and Twitch, but with 4 Desert getting buffed, you can also look to transition into 6 Berserker for Desert. In both cases, you want to make Kha'Zix a Berserker, as he enables the late game Berserker best without having to level to 9. Another late game transition you can play is to have 3 Assassin by making Olaf the 3rd Assassin, as 3-piece trait was buffed in 10.2. Regardless of what flavor of Berserker you wish to play, which depends on the lobby you're in, Olaf is going to carry your items. Rapid Fire and Infinity Edge are great on him, with the 3rd slot being flexible. Locket is still a viable stack on either Volibear, Mundo, or Sion, but if you plan to go Poison, try to keep a Rod for Morellonomicon, as it's an important item for Singed. Number 3 on our list is Rangers. They've been making a name for themselves since patch 10.1 with the addition of Last Whisper, and they are still going strong in 10.2. There's several ways to play Rangers, but the primary carry is always going to be Twitch, with at least 1 Infinity Edge and 1 Last Whisper. Quicksilver is a great 3rd item to give him, and giving Ashe at least 1 Static Shiv is good to do as well. Kindred and Varus are going to round out the 4 Ranger part of the build, though you can play 2 Rangers with just Ashe and Twitch. Amumu and Taric are must-haves for Rangers, as they give good frontline CC with Amumu, and Taric provides a ton of defensiveness between his ultimate and crystal buff. If you're in a lobby that doesn't need Poison, you can go 4 Warden, but the normal transition will be adding Singed and Mundo for Poison, as this really boosts the power of this composition. The 2 Ranger variant drops Kindred and Varus for your choice of champions, though Lunar is great to round out, as the buff provided by Karma makes Twitch an insane hyper carry, and Leona, despite being nerfed in 10.2, is still a fantastic frontline champion. Going further down our list, we're moving on to our number 2 build, Ocean Mages. Another build that has been in and out of the meta, Ocean Mages is making a splash in 10.2, as the Blade Master compositions that gave it so much trouble have fallen out of favor after being nerfed. Those nerfs let your frontline live long enough for your carry to continue continually push out a ton of damage. While your main carry is still going to be Brand, it is viable to play Syndra as your item carry until the late game. Thresh, Nautilus, and Vladimir are returning as the supporting cast for Nami, Kiana, Annie, and Amumu as potential additions. Don't fret if you're unable to get Brand in your game, as the items to put on Syndra can easily transfer to any Lux in the late game. Seraph's, Deathcap, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Morellonomicon are fantastic for this build, which can be played on Syndra, Brand, or the Mighty Lux. 10.2 also buffs 6 Mage, which makes it a great level 9 transition if you have a Mage cap to give to Annie, Lux, Nami, or Malphite. One weakness this build may have is Indu Assassins, which received a buff in 10.2, so make sure to scout to see if anyone is going Assassin. If they are, you need to position around that and try to find a Taric, as his ultimate keeps your carry units alive long enough to deal with the squishy assassins. Finally, we're at our number 1 build for 10.2, Desert Assassin. 10.2 brought some big buffs to Assassin, with both 3 and 6 getting increased critical damage, though by far the larger of the two was 6 Assassin, which got a 75% increase. Desert also received a change, with 4 Desert now reducing the armor of enemy champions by 100%, so it's natural to combine these two buffs together into one build. Kha'Zix, Kiana, Nocturne, LeBlanc, and Zed are the Assassin portion of the comp, with Azir, Sivir, and Renekton bringing the heat with Desert. Keep in mind that this build does require making one of your Desert units an Assassin, so try to aim for grabbing a spatula off the first carousel. Kha'Zix will be your primary carry with this build, with Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Quicksilver being the 3 best items to give him. Seraphs and Bloodthirster are also viable with him, with Sivir being the Desert champion that is turned into an Assassin. Level 8 is absolutely required to play this composition, so hold out on rolling too much at 7 and aim to get a fast level 8 to get everything online, and watch as your enemy units melt to your assassins. While this build is fantastic in any Warden heavy builds, it is very weak to Crystal, so keep an eye out in your lobby for anyone going Taric with Crystal. It is beatable but requires good positioning, so remember to scout. One last tip for this composition is looking to build a Zephyr and placing it on Kiana in one of the corners, as it opens up a spot for the assassins to get to the enemy's ranged carry. That is it for our top 5 compositions in 10.2, but before we go, let's get into a few honorable mentions. There's a lot of builds you can do right now, but let's touch on a couple more that you may see in your games. First up is Predators. Luden's Echo has received a large buff in 10.2, with 3-star scaling going up to a whopping 250 damage. Because of this, Kog'Maw is a scary champion in 10.2 if you're able to get him 3-starred and find yourself 2 Luden's Echoes. Give those to him and watch as his ultimate melts away enemy units with the splash damage. Rek'Sai and Skarner provide the front line for your Kog'Maw, as they open up the ability to play Steel and Crystal with Nocturne, Ashe, or Taric later in the build. In addition to that, you're going to want to add Twitch and Singed for poison, with Mundo being the placeholder for Singed. Unlike the past few metas where this build has been uncontested, there's a chance someone will be contesting you with this build. Make sure you scout and check out if anyone else is holding on to Kog'Maw, as that's the most obvious tell that someone's going into Predators. The next composition to mention is Lights. Lights have been on the edge of this meta for a while, and that seems to be the case in 10.2 as well. With Yorick being such a heavily contested unit, it's not always easy to get this build online, but if you're able to get it, you can get an easy top 4 finish. While Husband and Wife was the way to play it in the past, current Lights rely on Vayne or Lucian sitting in the backline with a Karma babysitting them. Look for items like Infinity Edge, Deathcap, Jeweled Gauntlet, Hush, or Giant Slayer for Lucian, and Rageblade, Runins, and Last Whisper for Vayne. Remember that Yorick is really important for Lights, so grab him every time he's in your shop. Round out the rest of your build with Soraka, Nasus, Aatrox, with Leona providing the lunar buff with Karma. And with that, we are at the end of our top compositions video for 10.2. What has been working for you guys so far this patch? Anything surprising that you've seen in your games or on stream that you might want to share? You can let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all in our next video. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to Giant Slayer TV.